game. When you play for Leicester Tigers, that's the game. And you fucking kill your opposite man. All it is, boys.
People come here and they say they love the place. They don't love it like someone who's come through the academy.
I joined from the Royal Air Force, so I was 19, 20 when I joined the club. So when I joined a back line that had myself and Barry Evans were the two wingers and everybody else were internationals for England. It was very much about, have a go, try it, we'll be there for you. Red, white and green, it's a big part of my life.
We have development programs on the ground from the age of 13, developing players, developing the skill sets in players. Some players stay in those programs all the way through, but we're constantly looking at opportunities to catch players in when they're a little bit older.
It's a little bit of X factor you see in a player. You get gut feelings on his workload, his appreciation of being in the right place in the game. A mixture of a lot of things.
Certain aspects that you look for, whether a player technically can get into certain type of positions that we look for, and really whether or not he has the mindset to fit into the environment.
This high standard's been set, and I think when you come through the academy, you're brought up in that environment, you're brought up in what we do, what Leicester's about, and you want to kind of maintain that for as long as you can, and you want to uphold, I think, what's gone well for Leicester in the past.
I think that core, that Leicester culture, that kind of still there, and that's what I've kind of enjoyed, kind of passing that on to the younger lads. Like, hopefully they're going to go on to have the same experiences that I had within the academy and then onto the first team as well.
It's part of my family, it's part of my heritage, and I love it.
After a hard-fought but comfortable win against local rivals Wasps last week, it was back into a tough week of training. The coaches want to see a step up in performance and hope the players won't become complacent, having won all the games comfortably so far. This weekend's game will pose the biggest challenge yet, as it's the unbeaten team from Manchester, the Sale Sharks.
So it's Monday afternoon. We played Wasps on Saturday, so the boys have had a day off and they've come back into train and review. It's really easy to get sidetracked by some of the things that didn't quite come off. Loads of stuff to work on, but we played really well. For the second half, we played some really good stuff. So we've got to try and balance that. Actually, give them some praise, give them some credit. Some boys are really working on like individual details that you don't see in a game and you wouldn't necessarily know. But then going through individually on review, they're getting better and better each week, and they're the kind of things that we're picking up on tonight.
So basically, the last game is where Wasps are. That's from Saints, and then that's our last game against Saints. So it kind of puts in the picture of where we are. So basically, looking at the screen here, we've got 50% possession on both sides of the team. But in red, looking at the last game when we played last game against Northampton Saints, we were 60% possession and they were 40. So kind of we had more possession of the ball, we had more chances to be in goal zone, which you can see in the red. We had 15, whereas we had 10 this week.
So we got 5 conversions in the goal zone, as in 5 times.
We kind of want to get the lads to look at the questions here and why were we like this and how can we attack better and how can we be more effective in this sort of area as well.
Some stats from the weekend here, and I know that quite a lot of you have looked at this. Second half game line success of Wasps increased, and they finished at 78% game line success at the back end of the game. So 78% of the time Wasps were getting over that line in the last quarter of the game. So if they've got a carrier in midfield like this, carries into contact, we're looking for outside man to jam in, finish the tackle. Okay, what are we thinking here?
If he puts loads of pressure at that side, obviously a rubbish pass. If you get off the line, we'll probably put a dominant shot. They don't get a good forward ball.
Yeah, so Ollie, who's not here, This is a bit of a theme for us. So ball goes outside, this is when we're tending to switch off of it. Ball goes outside here, inactive guard has to fold under, and these guys have to work in. Now, there's 3-4 little errors there that mean that they end up with that much space between our defender and the ruck. Play it through. Okay, so just make a quick note now. What would you do differently if you were in one of those roles? We just alluded to this, but physicality-wise, talk to me about this set. Now recognise that we end up with a penalty with them coming in the side. Okay, freeze it. So what's just happened? What do we see?
The kick-off.
That's definitely that's worthy of Hollywood. That is, recognise.
What can we see here? Who's that? Is that Ronnie out the back there? Potsy. Ronnie, do you want to talk through this? What we talked about?
I make a few steps sideways instead of just holding my feet, and that gives them time to like jam in, and I have no time to get the ball out. And as you can see, there was a 3-on-1.
If we can get to that next level, control our feet in the wide channels, tighten up off the start, we'll become a very good team.
So as the game against the Sale Sharks approaches, it's time for the team to get down to some hard work under the lights of the Oval Park training ground. There will be no room for complacency, and the coaches will want the players to step it up this week.
3 balls down, boys, in how long was that? A minute and a half. Transfer that into a game, that's a ball down. Can't have an error on an error. Have to take the error in isolation. Set the backs earlier. As soon as the ball goes down, all our body language is horrendous. Our shoulders are down. Obviously, we beat Wasps at the weekend, I think by 30 points, but I think it was almost quite frustrating after the game. We're still almost quite disappointed because I think, personally, I can see there's so much potential, so much areas of growth. I'm probably quite impatient already. I want to have the perfect game, which they're not going to have. Let's try and go through a whole set without having any balls down, yeah?
So if you're trying to walk with me, said the cycle gonna stop right here. My God gave his life for mine, so I can make this clear. The more and more my name is grown because the music. The more let's get back! Ain't about the music, but the way that I use it. So go ahead, keep on rapping, battle your trappers and your drugs. I'll be here just holding down for the people and the lawyer. I was trying to feel the way with you.
Nice, Harry!
I was trying to feel the way with you. I was trying to feel the way with you. Oh, yeah.
Great chat, Lee.
Just go forward, go forward. Let's see if we can change the picture in defence, and then we can work out from that.
Yeah, nice, Sam. All from square hits, boys. I think the thing I'm almost looking at more at the minute is probably their attitude as well. They're kind of, when they move up, their skills are going to come. But I think with guys as well, we talk about kind of this Leicester attitude. And there's definitely 3 or 4 kind of really good backs that probably future internationals in there as well. Ronnie, Ollie, Joe, that there is basically the drill we did down there, yeah? That straight there's perfect, yeah? They've got that attitude set in stone now. The further they get, they're going to get better. But that attitude is definitely there with some lads, and I think at least 3 will probably end up being probably full internationals, I'd say.
Put them in the dirt, say it again, man, and that's a reverse. Never rehearse, jumping in first. Call up the nurse, put the beat in the hearse. This is absurd, take the berserk. Don't get on the tracks, man, and they better swerve. Don't got a nerve, man, I never curse. Just casting these spells when I'm spelling these words. That's real, that's too real. I've been Roosevelt, I need a new deal. Trying to figure out what I should do still. I'm really never waiting here too still. This work that I'm doing, they never see through it. And all of this rap that I see that
Forwards, as a group, we are letting the rest of these guys down with the quality of what we're delivering. We've got to be better.
Boys, with 4 games into Academy, we've got to be knowing the calls literally off the top of our heads. It's too slow at the moment. We've got to react quicker and we've got to be first to set.
There's no point playing with tempo if the ball's on the deck. Let's just cool heads and just get the ball set again.
We have the best moves in the world. If we don't nail the basics, boys, it doesn't matter what that is. Don't get bored of doing the simple things. Nail the basics and the attack will come.
It's getting that early set and the early chat of the nominations X to 10, then we can fill the spacings from that.
I know attack-wise it's felt really frantic. I know that we're really frustrated. I know we want more reps now, and I think we probably need to make sure that when we get out here, when we transition from units into that game stuff, we've got to be more switched on, ready to go.
Said I got my eyes on zone.
It's game day, and it's been a less than perfect training week. Things didn't always go to plan. Can the frustration of the coaches and the added excitement of this unbeaten Sharks team in town force the Tigers to put in a performance of the season so far?
So with the weather conditions, it might be that we end up with more of a territory first thought. So it's not a really prescriptive thing when we're going to go, this is what we're doing, this is what we're doing. First option might be that we want to be playing down at their end of the pitch, and we think as a group that we can challenge their line out really hard. So be aware that that is almost one of the keys to the game now, given what the weather conditions are like. Okay?
As always, boys, accuracy. And just set early in them and everything we do, boys. Their speed to set is shit. That's going to win us the game today, as always. First to set, and that player accountability as well. If your mate's walking, let him know, and we're all going to win the game together.
Just keep talking and keep working hard, get into positions, and then go from there. Work hard and then get into position, and then you can rest.
Yeah, it's a bit wet, it's a bit greasy, so let's make sure we're really accurate with our cold calls when we play. Shit ton of pressure on them in their 22, and force mistakes. Yeah, we let them play out in their 22. We want that.
Any momentum, so line speed and dominant tackles at X in particular, and just listening to the bold calls.
Slow them down in the tackle, physicality, all the things that we highlighted against Wasps that we could have been better. We've got to be right up there today.
To get paid for me, man, so what a God I'm walking. Yeah. I seen the type before about 100 times, trying to undermine my abilities to be killing anything I target.
Bro, fine. Set. And squeeze. Up. Knees, Rob. Up and rest.
They need to show us that they want to be here. We're not just going to invite them in and wait for them to show us. They need to show us first. Sometimes players don't show that until they're 17 or 18, but until they show that consistently, we're not going to give them a place here.
Yeah, they tell me everybody in my city that I'm finna love my song.
Squeeze, stay tight, Bob.
They expected us to always work very hard for the club. They ultimately expected us to win every time we went on the field. That was something that was ingrained into us from an early age. Doesn't matter how you win, but you got to get that win.
Stay tight, Manzi.
Who you kidding, man? Yeah.
Fine. Set.
Yeah, swear to God, I'm with it. I don't see nobody in my lane. It's quite good.
Wait for the ball.
Wow.
Lovely finish, fellas.
Get done the talking now, yeah? The talking's done, boys. And all the fucking hard work and training comes to this. Yeah, we talked about the roles, we talked about the accuracy, let's fucking put it into this game now, yeah? We bring it, minute 1, yeah, that physicality. 1 to 70. Yeah, we fucking bring it, yeah? Big fucking shots, put them on their arse. Line speed from X, yeah? Big emphasis on that. Whoever's X, fucking shout that nomination, you fucking get up and hit that man, yeah?
Let's get some energy, boys. We get onto that pitch from fucking minute 1 and we get into them, yeah? From this exit, sets as a mark for the rest of the game, yeah? We exit well, they're fucking nervous already.
Bring the fucking aggression, get off the line. Yeah, I haven't been there yet, we're 4 games in. This is the fucking game, yeah? We want it more than that.
This is where it comes, yeah?
You know, it's about being tough mentally and physically. You want to be the best, you try and learn every day.
Put them in the dirt, say it again, man, and that's a reverse. Never rehearse, jump in the verse, call up the nurse, put the beat in the hearse. This is absurd, take the berserk, don't get on the tracks, man, and they better swerve.
Go Leo.
Man, I never curse, just casting these spells when I'm spelling these words. That's too real. I've been Roosevelt, I need a new deal. Trying to figure out what I should do still. I'm really never waiting here too still. I don't even know what I should say at all. Should I jump on in? Should I get involved? Guys around me, they love to talk. I take it all with a grain of salt.
Potsy, we've got to stay on our feet, work on the floor.
I'm trying to undo it, and still they say they don't know if to shoot it. I gotta see through it, man. Won't be deluded with all these illusions. I know it's
George, now that you've called jab twice, they're going to know what that is. So what are your options? R5. Maybe a T1 as well.
I've been balling like a pivot down, step into the scrimmage. I just playing when I'm in it, trying to run it till the ribbon, and they know that I've been tripping when I make them see the vision. When I put them in the prison, and this life that I've been living, I'ma go, I'm on a mission.
Started okay, and then slipping off a few tackles and just not
not quite making our first up tackles. It's interesting just to see how they can steady the ship and get back into the game, really.
When we play that tempo, they can't deal with us, yeah? That's twice we've been over in 10 minutes.
I just did it 24 song in a bed, in a building, they already know my name. At the show, she gon' want a picture.
Tight, Hardwick.
Tell a friend, oh yeah. I shoot my shot with this gold on my wrist while we throwing the parties, they throwing the fit. Girl finesse, can spot me a sucker. A lot of you really is holding the lick.
That's a good call. Stay tight.
I sell a boat to a fish. I sell a regular, you know I say it.
Okay, that message, Hotsy. Reminder for Hardwick. Height, extra.
Work hard and do.
I know that she expect me to come. I got my eyes on you.
Come on, George, work back. Off the line, get off the line. Slow off the line, slow to set. Harry, drive the message defensively. You've got to be getting off the line, you've got to be going physical.
I think we try and play too much, and guys kind of then want to push the ball, spread it wide, show what they can do, and sort of go off task a little bit, and that's when we make lots of errors and don't probably build scores as we should.
Eyes up and in. Okay, so I know we're feeling it a little bit at the moment. I can see that we haven't got the energy that we usually have. The key bit to this game now is what we do in one-on-one contact area. If you are a carrier, get your shoulders down. Fight the floor, go forward, don't land on your back. If you are tackling, we have to be more physical. That's the key to the whole game now. That's why we're a bit frustrated. We haven't got the usual energy level we've got because we're turning the ball over a bit easy, because we're missing a few tackles. That's the key to the game.
It's really bossy. If you do the action, they're going to follow. We need to talk as well. Like, if we keep nominating, if you say that's your man, in your head you're going to make that tackle. Let's just be positive as well. Let's keep bossing those forwards about. Get them nice and wide from an edge. Let's call that. Let's actually buy into it.
We've called to space really well executed line out drive. We put pressure on their line out? Have we? Yeah, we definitely haven't got the verbal pressure we talked about. How much really good quality line out ball have they got out of us? No, they haven't. We're getting pressure on them. We've got to keep that pressure there. My other thing that I'm going to be feeding in there is I don't think we've done what we said we were going to do. We haven't put the ball at their end so that we can challenge their line out. And then the most important bit, the bit I was just feeding in there, is that we as a group are not working hard enough in defence. We're not folding quickly enough, we're not setting early enough. That means that we've got spaces in and around the X area. It means that we've got backs having to turn their shoulders to make the hits that we should be making because we should have worked hard earlier. That is not good enough for this group. You boys are putting these guys under too much pressure. We're seeing shoulders turn because we're not setting early. You guys keep hammering them. If they're not doing it, get into them out there. Attack-wise, what are we talking about in here?
On the Rhinos, as we saw in the last couple of phases, we just keep holding the ball, keep battering at their line. It's clinical, boys.
Bring that cool, bring the energy and get over the game, man.
Energy levels, boys, energy.
Last bit, we talked about territory in there. How often have we put territory pressure on them? Our defensive line out is right on top of their line out. We have only had 3-4 opportunities to get into them there. Okay? Let's go, fellas.
Let's raise the ball. Let's go.
First time we've pressurised the first hands there. That's on where we need to be defending, but on them. Okay, links, let's go. Slow, slow, slow. Defensively, we've got to be setting there, we've got to be getting off the line.
There are more critical calls off the line.
Don't worry about that. We've got to be executing better when playing down the other end.
5-10 minutes now, we've got to put it in, yeah? About 2 minutes, that's all it is.
On the ball. Line speed.
Great learning, a bit nervy, but we defended really well. We'll take some real positives out of it. Our defensive sets have been brilliant.
Put ourselves under pressure again, don't we? With poor execution, time after time.
So there's loads of positives to take from it. We just got possession of the ball and given it away straight away. So game over. We're all right. We're all right.
Yeah, it was a tough battle. Sale, I knew coming into the game, speaking to the rest of the guys, that Sale had gone unbeaten as well. So it was like the two unbeaten teams coming towards a potential climax. So it's a hard battle. I think the boys probably will look at it and think they didn't play as well as they could have done. I thought they played outstanding in the first half, and it was a good defensive stint by the boys to keep them out and win it at the end. But I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, very much needed. They gave us a really good challenge, and it's a lot of the decision making that we've been pressurising in training hasn't necessarily been pressurised in games. It was a really good opportunity for them to get that today, and in many ways they fell down with the quality of some of the decision making they're making in the game. I think there was an element of complacency when we scored a couple of tries, but in many ways that showed in some of the quality of our defence, some of the quality of our physicality as we went through the game, which wasn't where it needed to be dominant over a tough team like Sale.
So we've had our first test there, haven't we? When the pressure's really come on there, how well did we execute certainly when we had the ball? Were we happy with where we were at?
There's certainly some really good things to review, and this is one of the things with young players is that you've got an opportunity now to go back and say, well, how did you react to that situation? How did that feel? What would you do differently next time?
Fine, we've come through this, we've scraped through it on the back of some serious heart in defence. I know there's elements of physicality that we're going to need to go away and look at ourselves in, but we all know our decision making when the pressure was on wasn't where it needed to be. And that's the bump I think that we needed, because I think we were starting to get a little bit complacent here, weren't we?
I think defensively we reacted well, yeah. The physicality, as we've already said, can go up. Let's come back in on Monday, yeah, and let's put the hard work in, because that's nowhere near as hard as it's going to get this season, yeah. It's got to go up and onwards from here.
Yeah, every single one of you putting bodies on the line. Take a bit of pride in that and then build on that so we can take the learnings in the tactics and all the other stuff.
We've got a lot of review to do from this, and we've got some good work to get done next week.
You get a lot of information, don't pay lip service, boys. Go away, have a think, come back on Monday how you're going to improve and be better. Don't just go forget about it. We won't forget about it. Like James said, we'll review hard on Monday. We'll come up with the same messages next week and the week after. We've got to keep getting better week on week.
Okay, yeah, we might not deserve to win that game, but we have. We have because of pride in the shirt, because you put bodies on the line, because we worked our nuts off to do it. Okay, so let's be a little bit proud. Okay, all right, we'll learn loads from it. That's fine, but let's be proud. Okay, let's have our heads up. Okay, let's have some smiles because we've won. Okay, we've really won.
It's a massive learning curve. Win obviously helps, but it's all part of their journey to try and get in the first team squad. So anything, just listen, learn, have a go. Don't be afraid to make mistakes, but learn from them.
And that's ultimately why they play academy rugby, is that they get really good learning opportunities where they play tough games, and this is one of those tough games. It's one of the tough games that we've been wanting throughout the season so far. Good work, mate. That was a step forward for you performance-wise, mate, I thought. Yeah, definitely a positive step forward, mate. Okay, good work.
After a really tough test against quality opposition, the Tigers get the win. Just. The hard-fought game and tough conditions should put this young Tigers team in much better stead for the remainder of the season. It doesn't get much easier, as the guys face another northern outfit in Yorkshire. There will be added pressure on this game, as it's at Welford Road, and it's the first time some of these lads get to play on the biggest stage. But this team of youngsters are growing in confidence every week and looking like one of the best teams in the competition now. Can they keep the momentum going? Find out next week, here on RugbyPass.